Okay, so today we're going to do roast beef, roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings on the Cadac entertainer. And what I'm going to show you is that we can cook this on a barbecue outside. So you've got a really glorious Sunday. Well, why stay in the house and cook your Sunday lunch? Let's do it outside. And how are we going to do it outside? Well, on the Cadac entertainer, we've got a rotisserie. So this is the rotisserie. So we're going to put the piece of beef on the rotisserie. We're then going to have that rotating inside that barbecue. And then all the juices from that are going to drip into a foil tray which will have the potatoes in, so they're going to nicely roast in there as well. And then right towards the end we're going to pop in some Yorkshire puddings, and hey presto, there you go. So we're going to take this really nice piece of mature beef and skewer this up, and once that's done we can get that onto the Cadac barbecue. Okay, I'm just going to pop it on the skewer and then show you how we can do this. Okay, so I've popped that onto the skewer, so that's nicely skewered in place. And then what we do is we bring it up to and against one of the forks, just so that holds that in place. And be careful you don't spear your hand in doing this. So bring that right onto that fork, so it's nice and secure, like that. Then you have another fork here, which we slide onto the other end. Let's just do that, like that. Slide that on, and then we push that into that meat as well, and then we lock it by using this nut. So it's quite easy to do. Just slide that on, push that into place. Make sure that we haven't got that too tight yet. Push that into place, like that. And you'll see then how those forks are keeping that beef on that skewer. Tighten that up here so we don't have any slippage. And we're now ready to go onto the Cadac. But let's fire it up first, get it to the right temperature, and then we can show you how all this is going to work. Here's the Cadac. It's a lovely sunny Sunday here. We've got the awning out at the top just to protect us. And what we're going to do is fire this up, get it up to a good temperature, and then put the rotisserie along here, and then that will gently turn and cook that beef. The roast potatoes will be under here in a nice foil tray, and then later on we'll bring in those Yorkshire puddings and get those cooking as well. But first of all, let's strike it up. So first of all, we're going to use the two middle ones here. So we're going to pop one on. That's one, and the second, two. You heard those, actually, I can't actually see them alight in there, but they did strike up. See if we can show you. If you can see any flame, I can't, but you've got to believe me, they are alight. And what we'll do now is we'll keep the barbecue mats over the top, because it keeps them nice and clean when we're using the rotisserie and stops all that extra scrubbing. Bring that lid down, and what we're trying to do now is to bring this up to a temperature that is as good as an oven. So you've got a nice temperature gauge here, and what we need to do is to keep this at about 150 to 180. So we'll let this warm up, and then we'll bring the rotisserie out, pop it on, and we can have a look to see how we put this all together. Back to you in a few minutes when this has reached temperature. Okay, so about 5 minutes later, you'll see that temperature there has come up nicely to about 200 degrees. So this is a really good oven now. So what we need to do is put the beef on the rotisserie inside this oven. So let's give it a go and see what happens. Now, when you open this up, be careful because this is like a normal oven. So as you open it up, it's going to let out lots of heat. So just be careful when you do that. So stand back just as you bring that up, okay? So we're going to take the rotisserie. We're going to slide that through the end here, like this. And we're going to pop that onto the end just here. So if you can just see that sitting in there. Sorry, the sun was in the way. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the motor on the other end here and then show you how it all connects. So let me just get hold of that motor. So there's the motor in place. We use this on a D battery. It has quite a simple on-off switch there, which just then rotates that piece of beef on that rotisserie. So what we need to do is just raise that into there, pop that into the slot, and then we just connect this end, just bring this into place, so like this, tighten it up, and then we're ready to turn that rotisserie on. So if we come back round, turn that on, and you'll see that just starts to turn nicely. And because of the heat of this barbecue now, that is going to give us a nice slow roast on that. And the trick is, what I do is I lay a little tray underneath it. That will catch the drips and all the fat and the juices from that beef as it cooks. And then later on we're going to put some roast potatoes in there and use those juices and use that fat just to make those potatoes really nice. Okay, so there you go. Let's leave it here for about half an hour. We'll come back and have a look at it and see how it's getting on. But that's your rotisserie on the Cadac Entertainer. Very simple to assemble, sits on there, goes along quite nicely. That beef is held firmly in place. Let's bring that lid down. There we go. That temperature will come up very quickly again to that 150, 180, and that will turn that into a nice little oven. So back with you in a few minutes, well, after half an hour. We'll come back in half an hour and take another look just to see what it's like. See you all again soon. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes since I was last on, not the 30 minutes that I would say. And as you can see, that temperature is actually coming up quite high. And I just want to bring that down and control that to just over 150. So we've got the 2 gas rings here in the middle of the barbecue. 2 outer ones are off, the 2 centre ones are on. And I'm just going to bring those down just to about a quarter of what they should be, just because I want to try and control that temperature and bring that down to about 180. So we'll come back if I've been unsuccessful, because we might need to moderate it a bit more, but that's what we're trying to do now. Get that down to about 180 for an oven so we can get that cooking nicely and just at the right speed. So if we don't come back to you, you know that we've succeeded, and it'll be another 25 minutes before we open up and have a look at that beef. Okay, so here we are, 30 minutes later. I can hear that beef sizzling and spitting away inside the barbecue. I don't know if you can hear that, but let's have a look. You'll see the temperature is sitting there nicely between 150 and 200 degrees. That's just at the right point. So let's lift that lid, stand back, and there we go. Look at that. We've got a really nice piece of roast beef going on that rotisserie. We've got lots of juices going into that pan underneath, ready for me to put those roast potatoes in later on. And that's it. We're just going to have to sit back, wait for this to cook, then add the potatoes, then add the Yorkshires, throw some veg around somewhere, and there we have a good Sunday lunch. So I'm going to shut the lid now for another 15 minutes. That'll give us 45 minutes in total on the rotisserie. And then I'm going to add some potatoes into that pan. So back in 15 minutes time. Okay, so here we are, 15 minutes later. Everything is sizzling along nicely inside the Cadac. There's some potatoes. I've parboiled these just to give them a bit of a kickstart. I've sprinkled some fresh rosemary over the top as well. So what we're going to do now is open up the Cadac. We're going to put these potatoes into that tray underneath that beef so we can actually try and catch some of those juices into those potatoes. You can see we've got plenty of juice in there. Let's tip those spuds and that rosemary into there as well. Give them a bit of just a little bit of a turn in there, so we've got some of those juices going on to that potatoes. Oh, they're looking good already, they really are. I need to get that back under there because, as you can see, they're getting a bit messy on the mat, so Mrs. T will tell me off for not doing super clean. So that's the spuds in there. That rosemary is smelling absolutely wonderful. Keep those on the turn. So what we'll do is we're going to come back in another 15 minutes. So another 15 minutes will make that an hour for the beef in there. We'll give those potatoes another turn and then we'll see how things are doing. Right then, okay, we've done another 15 minutes. So back out to the Cadac. Let's open that lid up. What we need to do on this one now is just give those potatoes just a quick turn. Oh, they're getting stuck. Give them a quick turn so we can get them nicely roasted on all sides. So let's see if we've got good roast potatoes. We've got excellent roasted. And this is pretty tough doing it with just one hand because I haven't got a Mrs. T that I can rely on at the moment. She's elsewhere, but I'm sure she will turn up when everything is cooked and ready. So there you go, everything's been given a bit of a swizz over. That beef is looking absolutely gorgeous, just look at that. Nicely on that rotisserie. Potatoes are looking good as well. So we'll give them another 15 minutes and then we'll come back and have a quick look at them again. Catch you all again very soon. Okay, right, up we go. Gonna give those potatoes another turn. Mrs. T's with us now. Hello, Mrs. T.
Hello,
you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yes, she is.
Sorry, I was doing other things earlier.
So I'm just going to give them another turn on here, just so we can make sure that we get those potatoes. I just need to try and do that. That's better. A bit of a... So,
at least they're not burning on the bottom.
no, what I did this time, you weren't actually around, I parboiled them as well.
Oh, right, okay.
So they haven't had to be in there for quite so long.
Cool.
And then I put some fresh rosemary on them,
Lovely.
which is really nice. And of course they're catching all those lovely juices of that meat. So I'm just going to pop that back under there. Move that mat. Because that's, there we go. See that? The roast potatoes are in there, that beef is really nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go inside, make some Yorkshire pudding mix, and then come out, stick some Yorkshires on here, and hopefully everything gets finished at the same time. So back again once we're in the kitchen. Okay, so here we go. This is how we're going to do the Yorkshires. First of all, I don't want these little Yorkshire pans, which I've got, they're also muffin tins, too close to that.
Do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man?
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we don't want them too close to the grill, otherwise they might burn. So I've got two more here, which I'm going to turn upside down on the grill. and then pop them on there. So hopefully they won't be too hot, but it still allows those Yorkshires to rise. Now, this is not a cop-out. Well, it is a cop-out, but I'm going to be honest with you. We're on lockdown. I can't get any flour anywhere, so I've had to use a Tesco's batter mix.
And don't forget as well, if you're on a campsite, where we are sometimes as well.
That's right, but we're at home at the moment doing a big family Sunday lunch, but we haven't got a big family here because we're not allowed to see them, but I'm trying to give you an idea of how you could do a big family Sunday lunch. So we're using a good old Tesco batter mix. So I'm going to show you just quickly how easy it is. 200 millilitres of water and an egg in it. That's not just one big egg, okay? And it just says...
I actually did wonder that. Sorry.
Yeah, and squeeze that up like that. That's all you need to do. Open up.
I just didn't want to ask because I thought, you know.
Open up.
Do you want some scissors?
No, did it with my teeth. Batter mix. Whiz that straight into the bowl. This is enough for 12 Yorkshire pudding, so what I'm going to do is freeze what's left over so we can take it.
No, this one. If that would have been me at the big one, I can say it would have been all over the table. But hey, it is all over the table.
Give it a good whiz. Get plenty of air in there. And that is all there is to it. Quick slurp.
Oh yeah, well. Cheers.
Cheers. What we're going to do is take 2 of the pots. We're going to put a tiny, tiny drop of oil into each.
Olive oil, vegetable oil?
Just vegetable oil or olive oil.
Right, okay.
Just into each of those.
Have you got to heat that?
Yeah.
Oh.
And what we're going to do is pop those directly onto the barbecue now, just to get that really hot and sizzly. And then we'll come back and we'll put the mix into these and show you how we make Yorkshires on a barbecue. Okay, so we're going to put the Yorkshires in, and this is how we're going to do it. They're in there and they've got nice and hot. So we're going to take these 2 here, turn those upside down, take those, move them across. Just want to move those across here so it's nearer to the heat, because we've got the heat coming up on the 2 centre ones here. Put one on there, one on there. They're really hot. Pour the Yorkshire batter mix in there. There's 1.
Sorry.
There's 2. And that's all I can say we're going to do. There we go, 2 Yorkshires in there. You've got the beef there, the roast potatoes, lid's coming down.
Let's hope they rise.
We're going to give those 15 minutes and come back and take a quick peek
I don't know what that beef smells
and
gorgeous.
see what it looks like. Back soon. Okay, so here we go. Quick look at the Yorkshires after 15 minutes. Oh, they're rising quite nicely. Happy with those. Beef is doing good. Roast potatoes are looking perfect. So I'm going to bring the lid down again. We're going to do another 10 minutes, I think. 10 more minutes on those Yorkshires. And hopefully they'll be nice and brown, which is absolutely perfect. And then, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Serve up. We'll have Yorkshires. We'll have roast beef. We'll have roast potatoes. We've got some vegetables on the go. We've got a little bit of horseradish, a little bit of gravy, and again, roast beef, Yorkshire pudding and roast potatoes on a Cadac barbecue. Easy. And if it's a really hot day, what a better way than cooking it outside. So back to you again in about 15 minutes. Okay, so then let's have a quick look to see where we are. We're about half an hour into the Yorkshires. I think we should be okay.
Oh, look at them.
I think it's pretty safe to say they are pretty Yorkshire-y. I really don't know where to start first. Let's start with the Yorkshires, just see if we can get them out of those. This is going to be... That's, oh, no.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Wow, look at that. That's perfect.
They're not traditional, but they're Yorkshires.
Actually, turn them up that way. They look perfect.
They do, actually, yeah. Let's do this one. I'm going to turn the gas off. That might be a good start. They didn't. Oh, that one's okay like that. So
Yeah.
that's good.
It looks wonderful.
I'm really pleased with those.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you we can make a couple of Yorkshires in a Cadac barbecue.
I'm
So-
standing in the way of the sun just to make sure that we.
Okay. Just going to move those pots off there and over to here. So we've got some Yorkshires, so that's good. Let's serve the beef up. There with me.
Doesn't it look wonderful? Ah. Yum, 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 yum.
So this is what I used to take this for. So I'm just going to take that piece of beef, turn that rotisserie off. I'm going to release that screw there, so it's take that. Let's take that there as well. Release that screw. Move that down.
I can't do anything because it's going to be too
I'm not
hot.
asking you to.
I don't touch it, it's going to be really hot.
I think it's just releasing those screws and then taking that.
Oh.
Right, okay, let's just pause that until we can. Right, so we've released those. I'm going to pop that onto the potatoes and then I'm going to slide that beef off there into that dish. Just pop that on there. So that's good.
Ow.
Take that off there. So there's a nice piece of beef. Right. You stay there.
I will.
Going to come back.
Will we? Where are we going?
Potatoes. Tongs. Let's put those in there.
They look lovely.
They do, don't they? Nice and crispy. Just right, not burnt on the edges. A little bit of
I think we're getting better at roast potatoes on the barbecue.
rosemary on there, so that's really good. So we pop those over here. You can have a little chat with them while I go and get some vegetables.
Have a chat with them. Hello, nice meat. Hello, potatoes. And hello, Yorkshires, actually.
Chat with the audience.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant chat with the food. Oh dear. Never mind. There's no hope for me, really, is there? Oh dear. I'm going to get a glass of wine. Bear with me. There we go.
Some vegetables.
Look at that. There. I like beans and carrots. God, that beef looks gorgeous. I tell you, I can't tell you what the wonderful smell is. Oh, look.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just take some of that beef. Look at that. That's gorgeous. That's a rather big slice of beef I've taken there. So
Have we got any horseradish?
we have.
Lovely.
Pop that on there. That looks absolutely gorgeous. Piece of beef. And we've got some vegetables on there. Not the best things to serve up with.
Never mind.
And then let's put some potatoes on there. Stick on one of those Yorkshires. There, now look at that. We've got some beautiful horseradish inside. A little drizzle of some gravy over the top of that. And there you go. Just look at that. Roast beef, roast potatoes, Yorkshire puddings, and lots of lovely vegetables, all cooked on that Cadac entertainer barbecue. Absolutely fabulous. Right, so what are we going to do now? Please, if you found that of interest, give us the thumbs up. Would really appreciate it, and hit that red button and subscribe, because because the more of you that subscribe, the more of these roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings and beef and vegetables, everything else we can bring you. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe and bye for now.